Picture this. After a direct photon torpedo hit, sick bay overflows. Medicine under pressure. Deep space isn't a stable lab. You have radiation spikes, zero gravity, magnetic flux, erratic power. But the safety logic stays the same.
Navigating safety from deep space to the world of patients and MedTech. This is what our guest has been doing for the last 30 years. Today, he will become our guide into the world of the future, made real by the wisdom contained in a text so powerful, it has the ability to shape reality. His name is Leo Eisner. The 60601 Guy
was a 1960s show for me. I watched it in the 60s with my parents, with my dad. And I've watched Deep Space Nine, I watched Voyager, I watched all of them. I love them.
Leo has over 30 years of experience in product safety. But maybe it was this early exposure to amazing science fiction stories that helped shape his path to where he is today. What is the genesis of Leo Eisner?
When I was a sophomore in high school, I beamed over to NASA on a work study for the next 3 years of my life. I worked in a futuristic lab that literally beamed video signals to satellites. I learned video compression, digital electronics, wrote programs on massive mainframe computers, enough to spark a lifelong fascination with complex systems. It felt like living inside Star Trek. Timing signals, managing noise, and learning the hard way that one loose assumption can bring a whole system down. That experience taught me something I carried ever since. Safety isn't a test you run at the end. It's a set of decisions you make from day one. Later, working at Underwriters Labs and TÜV SÜD and 3 EU notified bodies, I discovered the same truth in medical devices. IEC 60601 isn't paperwork, it's an engineering mindset. It's how we design safety into medical device circuits, software, labeling, and human factors. So clinicians and patients can trust the technology in front of them.
Trust. Leo witnessed early on how loose assumptions can bring a system down. An engineering mindset is the manifestation of years of experience and expertise, made available in a standard, bringing confidence and trust in technology.
So today, think of this episode as a short voyage from the NASA lab to Starfleet sickbay and beyond. We'll use the IEC 601 series as our star map, showing how good engineering turns sci-fi inspiration into safe, reliable care.
Get ready to examine IEC 60601 like it's never been examined before. We'll start by going back to that ship that got hit by a torpedo.
So, the crew converts a cargo or shuttle bay into a shipboard triage bay. In engineering terms, this maps cleanly to the IEC 601 family.
The crew is in a vulnerable position. They are forced to put their trust in technology, hoping the engineers have designed the technology based on the environment they're in.
Sick bay aligns with the clinical environment, so like a hospital environment or a clinic. IEC 60601, the general standard, plus the relevant collaterals, 1-2, 1-6, the usability, etc. The particulars, For example, 2-49, the multi-parameter monitor standard, which would be perfect for a clinical environment, and 2-24 for infusion pumps, ideal for the sick bay. A shipboard triage bay or a planet-side outpost behaves like EMS, Emergency Medical Services Environment, or 1-12. That's collateral. On top of, you'd have the general standard, the -1, the applicable collaterals that apply, and you may have a Part 2 standard that applies to your device. It depends on what the device is.
But the standard wouldn't apply only to the clinical setting. It could even help the crew stay safe while they're trapped in their personal environments.
Crew quarters, that's sort of like a home use device. So a home use device falls under 1-11. Again, you'd have the -1, the general standard, and whatever Part 2 applies if there is one that applies. So for a pulse oximeter or an SpO2 device, it'd be 80601-2-61.
Without a sick bay, the only thing that can save them is the design approach for their devices.
Here's the design takeaway. -1-12 handles shock, vibration, dirty power, and electromagnetic chaos. 1-11 assumes lay users or home use, domestic type conditions outside the clinical environment with clear cleaning and labeling instructions.
You can tell Leo is highly experienced in the use of the 60601 series of standards. And he makes an excellent case for how standards are crucial in building the technologies of the future. The ultimate technology seems to be AI. And Star Trek has shown an amazing vision of that technology. The Emergency Medical Hologram. The EMH is a holographic AI that is trained in the knowledge of the best physicians known to have ever existed.
The EMH is a great metaphor for AI-driven diagnostics and software as medical device. Real-world anchors are IEC 62304 for software lifecycle, 82304-1 for health software product safety, and IEC 81001-5-1 for cybersecurity. A natural 4th edition tie-in arises around software expectations and AI controls.
Expectations and control. Clearly, this matters when you want to build novel technologies and build it right. How do we do this with AI?
Practical questions matter. What is a safe state for a digital doctor? Who holds the override key? And how is that designed so users can't miss it? Your guardrails or audit trails, human-in-the-loop supervision, really, really important.
Humans need to work with AI.
Model update governance and crisp handoff protocols to clinicians.
Of course, certain standards will cross-cut through every setting.
ISO 14971 for risk, IEC 62366-1 for usability, and IEC 62304 for software.
We have the mindset and the standards to make this happen today.
Standards aren't a ceiling, they're the launch pad for safer design in any environment, even space.
It should be clear how powerful standards really are. But creating such powerful texts takes a lot of effort, and it isn't exactly a speedy process.
Committee reality check for the 4th edition work, which is the new standard that's coming out hopefully in 2030 is the schedule. I shouldn't say promise. I would not promise it. So there's work groups like 37, which is the general requirements. 38 deals a lot with environmental conditions, but there's also battery management and other issues around it. And 48 is the electromagnetic disturbance group, which also has coexistence, which is a wireless coexistence is no new item within that group. Focuses on clarifying test conditions, component stresses, and environmental assumptions so devices can demonstrate safety credibly even as use environments broaden.
Some of this is due to that engineering mindset that's ensuring that we do not compromise on patient safety.
One thing we're doing specifically is trying not to limit design requirements when we're writing requirements in 4th edition. And we had that discussion somewhat today in our meeting this morning with Working Group 39. We worked really hard around that, and we recrafted a definition on, I think it was alerts. And the crafting took like 25, 30 minutes.
25 to 30 minutes on crafting a definition. Yes, I have had similar experiences in working in development of standards. But maybe that isn't a bad thing. It shows that competent people are using their efforts and time to constantly be vigilant about patient safety. This is how you create trust in technology.
From NASA's satellite bench to Starfleet's biomeds, the mission never changed: make technology worthy of trust. Patient safety doesn't begin in the test chamber. It starts on the whiteboard when you ask, what could go wrong, who could get hurt, and how do we prevent it? IEC 60601 isn't a brake on innovation. It's the warp field that keeps innovation stable at speed. It aligns designers, test labs, regulators, and clinicians on what safe enough actually means. So every readout, alert, and enclosure earns the right to be used at the bedside. That's the work I've devoted my career to. Build safety in, prove it with evidence, and keep learning from the field. In any century, on any planet, patient safety is still the final frontier, and it's how bold ideas become devices that protect what matters most: patient safety.
You have been listening to Leo Eisner, the 60601 Guy. My name is Faisal Kamal, and this is The Circle, where MedTech and sci-fi collide.